allowed them to create even more separation?
I think it was the second, to be honest. I think it was midway through the second. Shifted. I think we were a little disappointed that we weren't going into halftime with the lead. Then the third quarter, they turned up the pressure in the middle of the second, I would imagine. And then we had a couple loose balls, not get out of our hands. We didn't come up with some of those ones. Then you go in the locker room a little bit disappointed where we were at, but you come out, you still have an opportunity to play for 24 more minutes. We just didn't come out. We stayed in there. So tough third quarter that we weren't just able to get out of our own way.
Coach, Mark has given you production in previous games, but just seemed like he was just out of it tonight. What was going on, you feel like, with him tonight?
Yeah, I don't know, Dwayne. I just think in general, like we just didn't come back out the third quarter. We've talked about it pretty honest with our group even today. Before shoot-around, had a group of guys come in, and we just know our margin's different against a really good team. And then you go into halftime, and you're like, we're in this thing. Like, let's go get it. But you got to go get it. You got to want to go get wins in the NBA. Because that other team does too, especially a really good team. And I thought they came out with more force there in the third quarter.
And then you're trying to find offense. And, Jalen at times, that he got to the rim a couple times. Then Colin worked off of some. But you mentioned just being out of rhythm. At what point were you like, okay, we're just completely out of rhythm tonight offensively?
Yeah, good question. And I don't know the exact moment, obviously, the third quarter when you feel like it's up against you and it's just on your back. Probably go back and you see a couple shots. Could have just kept us in it a little bit longer. Again, they take care of the basketball. We thrive off of turning teams over, getting out into transition. We only have 4 steals. That always plays a part. But, yeah, at some point there during the middle of the third quarter, we just couldn't get out of the mud and just weren't able to until really the end. I thought the last group tried to move it, tried to play. We had a little burst there in the fourth to kind of close the gap. But other than that, we were in the mud from the middle of the second quarter on. Last
thing, Boston came in, I think, 6th in offensive rebounding. They nearly matched that, I would say, probably mid-second. Just maybe I know the game plan, keep them off the offensive boards, but maybe just the frustration of not being able to do that tonight. I think they finished with 22 offensive rebounds.
Just the frustrating part is that's what we do. They came in and stole our mojo in our own building. We addressed it at first media timeout. I think they had 7 at the first media timeout. They were killing us in the possession game. They killed us in the possession game the whole night. That's something that we normally do. That's something that we can control even when shots don't go in. So it'll be definitely talked about.
Jalen seems to be struggling on these drives to get around a guy and get his hip. Do you think that's more the decisions and the drives that he's taking, or just him still trusting the hamstring and getting to that point?
Probably a little bit of all the above. I don't think we're getting great screens. I don't think he has much of an advantage at times. I do think some of the physicality on drives is changing as the season progresses. And then I think a little bit he's just returning back to form. So we knew some of this would happen. I'm sure he wants to speed it up as fast as possible, but all this is pretty normal.
Jordan, I was going to ask about just the kind of back and forth with attacking up. It feels like you both do it as much as any other team. Like, you hold them to 40% from the field, 27% from 3. Like, is it just the possessions that you feel like y'all weren't able to get that really was kind of what swayed the game in those middle quarters?
Yeah, I know they got some early. I don't know where the rest of them came from. At halftime, the possession game, I think, was pretty close. And then they found some shooting in that spurt of the third quarter. I thought Harper hit 2 big threes when we were almost ready to climb back into it. I thought Hauser's threes were big for them, just the timing of the game. Possession game, we got to win it. There's not going to be a game without Book, without Dylan, that we cannot win the possession game. We have to win it. That's who we have been like that all season with those guys, and without it, we have to win it. So our locker room knows that. We have to continue to find ways, not only the glass on both ends, but we do have to find ways to turn teams over, and a lot of that's Goody. So we're going to have to find ways to manufacture it. That's a big piece of what we do.
Coach, tonight, did you see a correlation between your team not getting a rhythm and maybe some of those those hustle plays and those effort plays sort of dwindling or not being there tonight like they frequently are?
Yeah, I mean, they no matter what you feel offensive rebounds. So when we get them, especially in our own building, we can feel it. When they got them tonight, we would play really good defense and then not get those opportunities. And some of them were long rebounds, so it wasn't just a fist fight up around the rim. A lot of them were long, which comes when a team shoots the most threes in the league or top 5 in the league in threes. So we know what it is. We know the longer the shot, the longer the rebound. We just were not able to come up with them tonight.
And then, obviously, I know you've talked about establishing this half-court offense without Booker, Dillon, and I know you guys have had to do it on the fly, but how can you sort of try to establish some type of half-court offense without over-reliance on anyone specifically?
Yeah, we have to do it together. I think Book has said it from day one, and there's no one knows it better than him. Like, when you have 5 guys that are threats on the court, that's where it feels right. And you can just play basketball. It's just like an energy, it's a feel, it's a rhythm to the game. That's the rhythm, when everyone's out there being a threat. And right now, we cannot find it. But we're going to keep trying. And we just talked about it. Like, it's going to come from us, and this is going to be a huge part of our season, is us breaking through this little rough patch. We got to do it together, and we got to individually take a look in the mirror and see how we all can be better.
Jordan, I just want to ask you about Derek White. In terms of his screen navigation, I mean, is that some of the best, you've seen in the league in your decade plus?
I mean, it feels like we run up a couple against a couple guys. Castle recently, I thought Orlando had multiple guys. There was more switching. And then in Portland, Kamara, Drew Holiday, Derek White's probably learned some things from him. Derek does it a different way. I thought Shireman on the ball was really good. And I think even their contest, bothered us in that stretch of the third quarter where they were able to kind of just get a hand or at least some type of rear view contest. Credit to them. They had guys out. They came in, played their style of basketball.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.